Hello everyone. In the last class, we had finished acidic strength where we had covered all the different aspects of how to figure out the acidic strength of the molecules, how to compare them, what are different factors which we have to look after whenever we are talking about checking the acidic strength or comparing it, talking about ortho effect, SIR, and also we have understood the reaction feasibility with NaHCO3, and we have spoken about the reactions between the acids and the weaker salts and to check whether the feasibility is there for a reaction or not. So we have covered all this in the last class. Today we will be starting with the basic strength. So flow is almost the same what we have done in acidic strength. We will understand what exactly is the basic strength means, how to compare, what are different factors we have to look after when we have to compare different compounds for their relative arrangement for the basic strength, and then we will talk about the reactions feasibility. Okay, so let's quickly start with the basic strength definition. So we have three different kind of definitions for basic strength. One is the Arrhenius definition of base, where bases are the ones which when get dissolved in the water releases OH minus ion. So basically these are OH minus donors. For example, if I talk about NaOH, if it dissolves in the water, it gives you Na plus and OH minus. So according to the Arrhenius concept, this is the base. So donor of OH minus is the base. Next is Bronsted-Lowry concept, in which the bases are the ones which are proton acceptors. So they are electron-rich species and they accept H plus ions in them. They have that attraction towards H plus, they get attracted towards it, they bring them closer to themselves and form the bond. So for that, the species should be electron rich. Now when I say electron rich, it can have lone pairs or it can have the negative charge. Either of it can have, and because of the negative charge or electron rich due to the excess of electrons around due to the lone pairs, unused lone pairs, these species acts as the base. So for example, if I talk about NH3, NH3 has a lone pair over here. If it comes in contact with HCl, H plus it will take from here, and this H plus will get attracted towards this pair of electron, and this will become NH4 plus, and Cl minus will be side product, and this is the base according to the Bronsted concept. So as I said, according to the Bronsted-Lowry concept, your atom should be electron rich. It can have a negative charge or it can have lone pairs. Okay, next is Lewis bases. Lewis bases and Lewis acids are something which you have already studied in organic. And what are Lewis acids? These are the ones which are electron pair donors. So there is mandatorily going to be electron pair. That electron pair again can be a lone pair or the electron pair due to the negative charge. So they donate their pair of electron to an electron deficient species and form a coordinate bond. Such kind of species are called as Lewis bases. So look here again, NH3, as I said, is a Bronsted base. It is also Lewis base. Why? It has a lone pair. So that lone pair it can donate to boron, which has an empty orbital. It is an electron deficient species. It has sextet, not octet. So it has empty orbital. It can take the electron pair from nitrogen and keep it in the empty orbital and can form a coordinate bond. So this kind of coordinate bond formation will happen. So here, because BF3 is electron deficient, it will be called as Lewis acid, and it is capable of taking that electron pair, hence it is Lewis acid. So this NH3 will act as a Lewis base, BF3 will act as a Lewis acid, BF3 will accept the electron pair, NH3 will give the electron pair, there will be a coordinate bond formation, and this is how the molecule will be formed and can be written as N plus and BF3 minus. So boron will carry a negative charge because it has taken the negative density, and nitrogen will carry a positive charge because it has given the pair of electron. So this is your definition of Lewis bases. So here in today's class, we'll be dealing with the Bronsted and the Lewis bases. We will be talking about the basic strength in terms of Bronsted bases and Lewis bases. We will understand the basic strength order by analyzing different factors. Okay, so let's begin with the basic strength. This is the definition of bases, and now let's understand what are the parameters on which we judge the basic strength and how do we actually calculate it or analyze it. So let's understand the scales of measurement of basic strength. So we have two things. One is Kb value, very similar to Ka value, and similarly Pkb value, very similar to the pKa value. So Kb value, if it is more, then the basic strength is more. and your pkb value is opposite of it. So what is that pkb value? Pkb value is minus log of kb. So if kb is more, pkb is gonna be less. So if pkb is less, basic strength will be more. So just look at it. If kb is more, basic strength is more, and pkb is less. So basically your kb is inversely proportional to pkb, and this is very clear using this minus log kb itself. So this is the formula of pkb. Pkb is minus log of kb. So whatever kb value is, the opposite will be the behavior of your pkb. So if pkb is less, basic strength is more. If pkb is more, the basic strength is less. If kb is more, basic strength is more. If kb is less, basic strength is less. So this is what you have to understand. What more we have to understand? See, I told you we'll be majorly dealing with the Lewis base and Bronsted bases. So there the possibility is either the element has the pair of electron, because of the electron density around the atom we will be talking about the basic strength. So mostly it is gonna be anion or the electron rich species. So if it is an anion, then stable is the anion, weaker is the base. Why stable ion is a weaker base? Stable ion is a weaker base because it is good, it is happy with its negative charge. So it would not like to give it away. That means it would not like to neutralize itself. And bases are the ones which either give their electron pair to something else or accept the H plus ion to neutralize themselves, right? So if any base or any negative species doesn't want to do that, that means it is a weaker base. That means it is not showing the basic behavior. I hope you got the point. So if I have a base which is not willing to decrease its electron density by giving its electron pair to somebody else or by taking the H plus ion to itself, it doesn't want to neutralize itself, that means it is not behaving like a base and hence it is a weaker base. So stable is your anion, that means happy is your atom with its negative charge, weaker base it's gonna be. Okay, so now let's understand stability of anion depends on what all factors. So first is electronegativity. So if electronegativity increases, stability of anion increases. What does it mean? It means if your atom is electronegative, it actually has that hunger towards the electrons and it is happy to keep those electrons towards itself. So more electronegative your atom is gonna be, more hunger is there for electrons. More hunger is there for electrons, it wants electrons. So it would not like to give it away by either taking H plus ion. It won't like to neutralize itself by taking H plus ion or by giving away its pair of electron to Lewis acids. It would not like to do that because electronegative atoms have very strong hunger towards the electrons. So it is happy with its electron density, right? So basically it's happy means it wants that negative density. Happy means it wants that electron density and it doesn't want to give it away. So taking away that electron density from an electronegative element is actually a tough job. But this rule is applicable only from left to right, not from top to bottom. So this rule is applicable in the period from left to right, but mind it, this rule is not applicable from top to bottom in case of groups. In case of groups, it is a different rule which we use. This electronegativity concept works only horizontally, not vertically. Okay, so what works vertically? So we have understood if electronegativity is more, hunger is more, it doesn't want to give with the electron density and hence the stability of an ion is better. If the stability of an ion is better, they are gonna be weaker bases. Now size, if size increases, the stability of an ion increases. Now when you go from top to down, the size of the atom increases, right? Size of the atom increases, that means negative charge, it can distribute around itself very nicely. It will not be a very concentrated charge. What happens when the charge is very much concentrated? The electrons internally start repelling each other. If they are very closely packed, then the excess of electron density starts repelling each other, okay, and hence become unstable. But when it's a bigger atom, the electron density gets distributed all around. When it gets distributed all around, it is more stable because the repulsions among the electrons will be minimum, right? So if size increases, stability of an ion increases, hence it makes your base weaker. So when you go from top to down, size increases, Size increases make your anion more stable, and hence it becomes a weaker base. When you go from left to right in the period, the electronegativity increases. Electronegativity increases, and hence the hunger for electron increases, and it doesn't want to neutralize itself. If it doesn't want to neutralize itself, doesn't want to give away the electron density, it is happy with its electron density, then it's a weaker base, right? So if electronegativity increases left to right, stability of an ion increases, basicity decreases. When we go from top to down, size increases. Negative charge gets distributed, it's in a bigger size, easily handleable, and hence the anion is more stable, and hence it is less basic. So here this can be explained through these examples. Look at these examples. So when we have CH3 minus, NH2 minus, OH minus, and F minus, where exactly the negative charges are residing? The negative charges are residing on carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and fluorine. So if you look at the electronegativity is increasing like this. So that means fluorine is very happy with its negative charge. Why? Because it is electronegative. It doesn't want to give with electron density. Whereas carbon is not electronegative, and if it has the electron density, it would like to give away. So this can act as a good base, but this cannot. So CH3 minus is a very good base, but F minus is the weakest among all these. This works only left to right. As I mentioned, and I'm mentioning it again and again, this rule works only left to right. Okay, so this is the decreasing order of basic strength. Now, when you go from top to down, let's take the example of halogens. We have F minus, Cl minus, Br minus, and I minus. So when we are going from top to down, fluorine is the smallest atom, then chlorine, then your bromine, and then your iodine. So negative charge density is getting distributed nicely. As you're going down, this negative density can be distributed in the whole surface, and the electron repulsions can be minimized, and hence when the repulsions are minimized, the species is going to be more stable. If it is more stable, it would not like to give away its negative, because it is happy with its negative density. It is anyway stable because the repulsions are minimum, so it would not be very much so it would not be very enthusiastic towards taking H plus or giving its electron density, hence will act as a weaker base. So when we are going top to down, size is increasing, stability is increasing, and hence basic strength is decreasing. Okay, so now if we compare these some species, if I have to compare the basic strength of OH minus and SH minus, what do you think? Which one will be better base, or where the Kb value will be high? For OH minus, the Kb value will be high because O's size is smaller, S size is bigger, this is small, this is big, this is the negative charge is nicely distributed, it would not like to give it away, weaker base, right? Exactly same way if you compare OH minus and NH2, N is here and O is here in the periodic table, so O is more electronegative. If it is more electronegative, it would not like to give away its negative charge density, and hence NH2 is gonna be a better base. So this is how exactly we compare the basic strength. This is very initial level stuff, how to compare the basic strength of the atoms when they have negative charge, when they are in the anion form, and this you have to use when we are solving the questions, when we are comparing the examples. Okay, so now let's come to exactly what we require for organic chemistry. We are going to talk about the nitrogenous bases. Here I have shown you O with the negative charge, carbon with the negative charge, F with the negative charge, and halogens with the negative charge. But what we will be dealing in organic will be mostly nitrogenous bases, where the nitrogen is carrying the negative charge. But you may get the question where you have negative charges on oxygen, or lone pairs on oxygen, or fluorine and all that. So you should know exactly how to compare these, but majorly we are going to deal with nitrogen based bases. So let's talk about organic nitrogenous bases. What all we have aliphatic amines. Aliphatic amines, we all have understood what are those. These are simple straight chain amines. It can be of three types: primary, secondary, and tertiary. What are the formulas for it? RNH2, R2NH, and R3N. In all the three cases, the lone pair is there on the nitrogen. I think I have written the lone pair on the wrong side. It should be with nitrogen. So this is primary, secondary, and tertiary. Next is aromatic amines. Aromatic amines are the amines which are present. NH2 is present on nitrogen, with other groups is present on the aromatic compound. Which aromatic compound we deal with mostly? We are going to deal with the benzene. So benzene with NH2 is your aromatic amine which we are going to deal with, but there can be any other aromatic compound with NH2 also. This compound is called as aniline. Next is amidines. What is amidines? Amidines is where you have two NH2, two nitrogens present. One is with the NH2 and one with the double bond with carbon. So it is carbon double bond NH, carbon single bond NH2. This is also a kind of functional group which we have not dealt with in the nomenclature because we do not need it for naming. We just need to know it for its basic strength. Next is amides. We know what are amides. CONH2 group is the amide group. right? Here there is a resonance which keeps happening. So your lone pair goes here and oxygen takes the negative density. So oxygen becomes negative and nitrogen becomes positive, and there is a pi bond between carbon and nitrogen. So this is resonance which happens. So here these four bases we will be majorly dealing with. Now let's talk about the arrangement of the basic strength among these groups, among these compounds. So look at this, the third one. So when we talk about amidenes, so amidenes have a pair of electron over here and has a pair of electron over here. This pair of electron is participating in the resonance, but this pair of electron, where the nitrogen has a double bond, that pair of electron is not participating in the resonance, and hence it is a localized pair of electron. I hope you understand what is localized. Localized pair of electron means the pair of electron which is not participating in the resonance. Look at it. Let's see how resonance will happen over here. It will form RC single bond NH with a negative charge and a pair of electron, and then the double bond here, nitrogen and H2 and a positive charge. So this pair of electron is participating, this pair of electron is participating in resonance, and hence becoming a positively charged nitrogen. But here this nitrogen, there is a negative charge as well as the pair of electron which is localized here. It is not participating in the resonance. So this nitrogen is very, very electron dense. Okay, look at the second compound. In case of second compound, we have aniline. Aniline has a pair of electron which will participate in the resonance. So this is delocalized lone pair. So it is not with nitrogen. It is out of 5-6 resonating structures, it is there on 1 or 2 resonating structures. That's all. Look at aliphatic amines. Aliphatic amines have the localized lone pairs with the R groups present on them. And look at the amides. Amides main nitrogen has a lone pair, but that is again delocalized lone pair because it is participating in the resonance we have seen over here. So now we have to compare their basic strength. Look, so which looks more basic? Third one and first one looks more basic because the pair of electrons are localized. Second and fourth have delocalized lone pairs. Between third and first, which one is more basic, that we have to understand. In case of first, we have localized pair of electrons but no negative charge on nitrogen. So pair of electron is there which is localized, but additional negative charge is not there. Whereas if you talk about the amidenes, in amidenes nitrogen has a localized pair of electron with a negative charge, so it is very strong base. Okay, so third one is the most basic, then comes your first one. So now when we talk about the aromatic amines, in aromatic amines the pair of electron will be delocalized and nitrogen will carry a positive charge. So basically here you have 5 resonating structures, here you have 2 resonating structures. These 5 resonating structures in which nitrogen is giving the electron pair, 2 will have the pair of electron, 3 will have a distributed electron density. But along with that, we have to understand that the molecule is aromatic. Your conjugate acid is going to be very stable. Stable the conjugate acid is, stronger is the base. These aromatic amines will form much stable conjugate acids because the molecule, benzene, is aromatic. That is not going to get affected by the donation of the pair of electrons. So your aromaticity is maintained. Your conjugate acid is going to be an aromatic conjugate acid. It is going to be stable. If it is going to be stable, your base, your original base, is going to be more stronger base, right? So this is a stable conjugate acid as compared to the fourth one. Hence second is more basic, and then comes your fourth one. Now we'll talk about all of these cases one by one in detail, and we'll be talking about the multiple cases among the aliphatic amines and each and every category, how to compare their basic strength order, how to arrange them in the order of increasing pKb or increasing Kb, or decreasing pKb or decreasing Kb. Okay, so let's start with the aliphatic amines. In case of aliphatic amines, we have 2 kind of states in which amines can exist. One is in the gaseous state and another is in water. So basically they can be in the gas form or they can be dissolved in water. If the aliphatic amines are in the gaseous state, then their order of basic strength is tertiary, secondary and primary. Basically your nitrogen will have R group attached to it, then comes your RH, then comes your NH2 and R. So this is your tertiary, this is your secondary, this is your primary, right? So in this case, in case of gaseous state, your R groups are electron donating, hence increasing the electron density around nitrogen. Here there are 2 donating groups, here there is only 1 donating group. So the order is tertiary is most electron dense, then your secondary, then your primary. The nitrogen of tertiary is more electron dense, then secondary and then primary. Hence the basic strength order is tertiary, secondary and primary. Now, when we talk about water, water has a very weird kind of KB. It is secondary most basic, then tertiary, and then primary. And there are reasons for it. And this is very important question they ask you in 12th board. So this is the topic of 12th board. 12th class, that why in water the basic strength order of amine changes. So let me just explain you that. When we have, let's say, R, N, let me write it this way. This is my tertiary amine. This is my secondary amine. And this is my primary amine. Okay. So now when we dissolve it into the water, there are two things which come into the picture. One is steric hindrance. So basically water's H plus will come and neutralize this lone pair, or you can say will form the, so nitrogen's electron pair will do the donation or will accept the H plus ion, but there is a lot of bigger groups present over here around the nitrogen, which makes it little difficult for H plus to approach nitrogen. So basically around the nitrogen there is a huge R groups present, which basically restricts the entry of H plus, or you can say restricts the movement of water towards nitrogen to form the nitrogen hydrogen bond, where nitrogen can accept the H plus ion by giving its pair of electrons. So that is pretty much restricted due to the high steric hindrance. Okay, extreme bigger groups are present along with the nitrogen. 3R groups create a lot of steric hindrance, lot of crowding around the nitrogen, and restricts water to come closer to the nitrogen, and it restricts the water to give H plus ion to form the bond with nitrogen, because there is a huge crowding around. A lot of repulsions participate, a lot of repulsions happen, and you can say the water cannot come closer to it. So it cannot hydrate your R3N, and hence it becomes very difficult for this nitrogen to act as a base, even though it has a very high electron density. But these bigger groups restrict the incoming of water closer to the nitrogen due to their size, due to their bulkier size. Even though it has excess of electron density, it cannot exhibit the basic behavior that nicely, because water itself cannot come closer and can give its H plus to this nitrogen. So even though it has all the required conditions to be most basic, it just cannot behave like a base, because the movement of water and the lone pair is restricted. Why it is restricted? Lot of steric hindrance. Then comes your secondary compound, where you have two big R groups and one hydrogen. So from one side where the hydrogen is, your water can approach the nitrogen's lone pair and can give away its H plus, and the hydrogen and nitrogen bond can form. But again, there is steric hindrance due to two bigger R groups. Okay, so it is not as difficult as tertiary, but obviously the access is not as easy also, because two bigger bulkier groups are present over there. Then comes your RLH2, whereas only one R bigger group is there. Otherwise, from two areas, there are small hydrogens. Your H2O can easily come to the nitrogen and can give its H plus ion. And nitrogen can behave as a base very nicely, even though it has relatively least electron density. So that is the reason why your primary compound acts as a most basic compound, then secondary, then tertiary. This is due to these steric factors. This is the order which comes. Okay, that water cannot approach tertiary so nicely. But according to the electron density, if you look at the electron density order, electron density is most in case of tertiary, then secondary, and then primary. So basically, if we take these two orders, these are completely opposite orders of each other. So one is contradicting other. So in case of amines dissolved in the water, they will be exhibiting both of these factors. So one will be nullifying other, and that is the reason why your tertiary in one case is the most basic, and in the other case it is least basic due to a different behavior. And when you actually look at the order, when you actually see how does it get exhibited, so now when we compare these two factors and when they nullify each other in some or other way, the actual order is secondary, then tertiary, and then primary. Secondary is maintaining its position, hence it becomes the most basic one. Then your steric factor gets overcome by the electron density factor, and hence after secondary, tertiary becomes the most basic and then becomes the primary. This is in the case where there is any R group present, but there is an exception if R group is methyl. If R group is methyl, then this order is also different. In that case, your steric hindrance factor takes precedence and it overrules the electron density wala thing, and hence it becomes, the order becomes secondary, primary, and tertiary. Only in case of when methyl is R, then the order is secondary, primary, tertiary. But if it is any other R group, then your electron density factor overcomes the steric hindrance factor and the order becomes secondary, tertiary and primary. So I have clearly mentioned here, in water the Kv is secondary, tertiary, primary. If R is Me, then it is secondary, primary and tertiary. So I hope you have understood this. If you have not, watch the video once more, go back, try to understand what is the reason. One is the steric factor, second is the electron density. One factor is overruling the second factor. Which factor works when, that you have to understand. In case of water, two factor works, one steric hindrance, one electron density. In case of gaseous state, it is only electron density which works, which increases the electron density around nitrogen, and that decides the order of basic strength. So this is very, very important. So now let's talk about these examples. The first example, what we can see is we have cyclic structures over here. So mind it, whenever we are talking about the basic strength, we are basically going to consider that our amine is dissolved in water, and we are going to follow these orders unless it is explicitly mentioned that your amine is in the gaseous state. So we have to assume that our amine is in the water, and then we have to follow the Kb in this way or this way. If it is explicitly mentioned it is gaseous state, then only we will be following this order. Okay, so now let's look at the example first. So we have here nitrogen with the cyclic ring. Nitrogen has an electron density and it is secondary. Two R groups are present over here, so this is secondary. Here we have CH3 also attached over here, 3 electron releasing groups, and the nitrogen has an electron pair over here. This is tertiary. Here the NH2 is out of the ring, and this is primary. So we have secondary, tertiary, primary, and as I mentioned, we have to assume that it is dissolved in the water. So the order is gonna be secondary, then tertiary, and then primary. So the Kb order is gonna be first compound is most basic, then second, and then third. Very simple. Now come to the next compound. We have CH3CH2NH2, CH3CHNH, and CH3C triple bond N. So in all the three cases, nitrogen has a pair of electron, but what we have to understand is the first nitrogen is sp3 hybridized, second is sp2, and the third one is sp. So as the hybridization becomes sp, or when it moves towards sp3 to sp2 to sp, the electronegativity of nitrogen increases. More the electronegativity is of any element, it is difficult for it to give the electron density, especially in the case of left to right. But for the same atom also, if its electronegativity is increasing, it would not like to give away its pair of electron, right? So when I have to talk about the Kb, my first will give the electron density more easily because it is less attracted towards the electron, because it is least electronegative, and hence it will easily like to give away its electron density. So first is most basic, then comes your second, and then comes your third. Understand this thing here, the atom is same, nitrogen is same in all three cases. Only thing is its electronegativity is increasing. If its electronegativity is increasing, its hunger or its attraction towards electron is increasing. So it would not like to give away its electron density to show the basic behavior, or it would not like to neutralize its negative density, or it would not like to subside its negative charge or electron density by taking H plus or by giving away the electron density, and hence most electronegative nitrogen will behave least as a base. Okay, so the order is first, then second, and then third. Now come to the third compound. Here again we have NH2 with a pair of electron. This is sp2 hybridized, though it looks like it is sp3, but why it is sp2? Because this lone pair is participating in the resonance. It is in the conjugation with this double bond. Now here NH has a lone pair, and this lone pair is localized lone pair. This is delocalized lone pair. Delocalized. This is also sp2 but with the localized lone pair. So if I have to compare, both are sp2, so electronegativity is no different. But in delocalized one, the electron density is not staying with nitrogen. So if it is not there with nitrogen, how will it give it away? Right? So more electron density around any atom, more basic strength it should have, because more negative charge it has to give away, or more electron density it has to give away. But if it doesn't have, then it cannot give it to anybody, right? Then it cannot donate it anywhere. So delocalized ones, delocalized electron pairs are the ones which decreases the electron density around the nitrogen, or you can say which decreases the basic strength, because they are moving from one place to another and not staying at a particular atom. If the delocalized lone pairs are not staying at a particular position, that means these are pseudo electrons. That means it looks like electron is there, but it's not staying there. So nitrogen doesn't have a whole control on those electrons and cannot give it all the time, because it is not present with nitrogen all the time. So this you have to understand. This is very, very important. Why delocalized ones are lesser basic? Because these look like these are there, but these are not always there. They are just moving in the chain. They are moving here and there, and they are jumping from one place to another. So whenever these will be available to nitrogen, nitrogen can give them. But if these are not available to nitrogen, it cannot give it away. So that is why it decreases. The delocalized lone pair decreases the basic strength. So you have one localized lone pair and delocalized one. So a localized one, the one which is always going to stay with nitrogen, is going to be more basic, because that means the nitrogen has more control on that electron pair and it can give it away whenever it is required. So second is more basic than first one. Please understand why delocalized is lesser basic, why localized one is more basic. On the localized electron pairs, the atom will have control. It can give it whenever it requires. But delocalized ones are moving from one place to another, and hence the atom doesn't have control over it. And it can give it away only when that electron pair reaches to it. Otherwise, in most of the other conditions, it will be on some other atom, and the nitrogen cannot give it away whenever it is required. And that is why the basic strength is lesser. Now come to the next example. In next example, again your nitrogen is attached to the cyclic structure. Here nitrogen has a pair of electron and the two carbon chains attached on the other side. This is secondary sp3 hybridized nitrogen. Every time whenever you are comparing the basic strength, look at the hybridization, look at the behavior of the lone pair or the negative charge, and accordingly arrange. So here nitrogen has a lone pair. It looks like it is a sp3 hybridized nitrogen, but be careful, beware. There is a pair of electron which is in the conjugation with this pair of, with this pi bond. That means this electron pair is gonna participate in the resonance. That means it is not in the hybridized orbital. It is gonna be in the unhybridized p orbital. Hence, it looks like it is sp3, but it is actually sp2. So nitrogen is sp2 with the delocalized lone pair. Look at this nitrogen. This nitrogen is double bond and one single bond over here. This is sp2, but the pair of electron what it has is not participating in any resonance, and this is localized lone pair. Look at this. This is the pair of electron over here, not participating in any resonance, and this is sp3. So localized lone pair with sp3. Look at this nitrogen. This nitrogen is primary and sp3 with a localized pair of electron. First of all, we should know the order. It should be secondary, then tertiary, and then primary. Okay, and then we have to look where is the localized one, where is the delocalized one. Localized ones have the more basicity. Delocalized one electron pairs have the lesser basicity. So that all we have to understand, we have to keep in mind, and then arrange them in the basic strength order. So first of all, look at the first one. So which all are secondary, we have to figure out. The first and the second is secondary. In case of first one, localized lone pair is there. In case of second one, delocalized lone pair is there. So among first and second, which is gonna be more basic? So your first one is gonna be more basic. Okay, mind it, resonance or delocalization reduces the basic strength to a very good order. Okay, so all the localized ones, no matter they are primary, secondary or tertiary, they should be most basic, and the delocalized ones are going to be the least basic. So first of all, we will find out. I think my approach of the question was little wrong. I should have figured out which one are the localized one and arrange them first in the basic order, and then go to the delocalized one. So we have this with the localized lone pair, the first one, and then I have a third third one also. First with the local pair, third with the localized lone pair, fourth with the localized lone pair, and fifth with the localized lone pair. So these are the ones which have local lone pairs present. So basically the pair of electron is always gonna be on these nitrogens. Now look at their hybridization. So this is my sp3, this is gonna be sp2, this is gonna be sp3, and this is gonna be sp3. So among sp3 and sp2, sp3 will like to give away electron pair more easily because it is lesser electronegative. So automatically we have to compare. We know that out of these four, third one is the least basic. Keep the third one at the last among these fours. Okay, now I have to compare between three sp3s. So I have first one as secondary. Now look at their degree. So their degree is secondary, this is secondary, this is tertiary, and this is primary. So this is how exactly the order is gonna be: secondary, most basic, then tertiary, then primary. So order is gonna be first, then fourth, then fifth, and then third, and the last one is gonna be your delocalized wala thing. Okay, so your last one is the second one. Let me just reframe everything once again. Let me clear the board and explain you this once again so that you understand there are multiple factors which are affecting the basic strength and how you have to prioritize them and use them. First of all, we know all this thing I have already written over here. This is, we should know along with the degree. Degree is secondary, tertiary and primary, with what we have to consider for the basic strength order. So this is according to the degree. With respect to electronegativity, sp3 is most reactive, then sp2, and then sp, or you can say sp3 is most basic, then sp2, then sp. And with respect to the localization of the lone pair, local lone pair is more basic than the delocalized one. Okay, so first of all, let's see wherever we have localized lone pair. So we have localized lone pair in this case, this case, this case, and this case. So 4 cases we have for the localized one. Okay, so I have taken first one, third one, fourth one, and fifth one with the localized pair. And now I'll check their electronegativity. Their electronegativity is, this is sp3, this is sp2, this is sp3, and this is sp3. So sp2 is automatically gonna be less basic. Let's put it at the end. So the order is, so I have put it here. So this is my third one. My bad, just give me some time to clear it. So I can write it as first, fourth, fifth, and third. All these three are sp3, and this one is sp2. sp2 is automatically lesser basic. Now among first, fourth, and fifth, we have to see their degrees. So first one is second degree, fourth one is sp3, and this is your tertiary. Fifth one is your primary, and this has no degree. So order is gonna be secondary, tertiary, and primary. So the order is gonna be this way. So it is automatically first most basic, then fourth, then fifth, and then third. And now we will arrange the delocalized one. So delocalized, we have only one, that is second one. So that will automatically come at the end in the order. So this will take some time to understand and arrange them accordingly. Use your brain, use all the concepts, give itself a sweet time, and then solve the question. Now look at this compound. What all we have nitrogens arranged on the ring. This is nitrogen. I have given it as X, Y, and Z. So 3 nitrogens are there, X, Y, and Z. This nitrogen is a primary nitrogen. This nitrogen is a secondary nitrogen, and this nitrogen is a third degree nitrogen. We know the order, how it is gonna be. Order, and everywhere there is lone pair which is localized one. There is nowhere resonance is happening. The order should be secondary, tertiary, and primary. So let's look at the secondary thing. Where is the secondary? Secondary is Z, so it is Z, then tertiary, and then X. Very simple. Now come to the next compound. I have MENH2, MENH, and Me3N. Again, this lone pair is localized, and this XYZ, this is your primary, this is your secondary, this is your tertiary. The order should be secondary, tertiary, and primary. Arrange it in that order. Come to the next compound. We have 2 nitrogens here. We have to figure out the Kb of these 2 nitrogens, which one is more basic. So here there is a pair of electron, and here there is a pair of electron. This is a primary nitrogen, this is a secondary nitrogen, or let's not call it primary, secondary, but just this nitrogen. Yeah, so basically this nitrogens, we do not, I mean, generally what we say is if R group is there, then we call it secondary, but we can't call it secondary also. But this lone pair is delocalized one because it will be participating in the resonance. This lone pair is not the delocalized one, it is the localized one. We don't have to go for the degree, by the way. We can just simply see one is localized and one is delocalized. Localized one will be more basic, delocalized one will be lesser basic. So automatically first nitrogen is going to be more basic than the second one. Now look at these nitrogens over here, almost the same concept. This nitrogen ka electron pair is participating in the resonance, whereas this lone pair is not participating in the resonance. So this is localized one, this is delocalized lone pair. So first one is more basic than the second one. So there are some questions over here. Solve these now on your own. Try to figure out the basic strength of these compounds, arrange them in the Kb order, write down the Kb order, which one is more basic than the another one, and then we will discuss the answers. Try out for these on your own, give yourself some time, and then I'll discuss the answer. Do for these compounds also, and then we will discuss the answers. Give yourself some time, solve them, and then we will discuss. Okay, so let's quickly check the basic strength order. There is a pair of electron which is participating in the resonance. So this is delocalized lone pair. This is delocalized lone pair. This is localized lone pair. This is gonna be more basic. Look at this. This is a pair of electron. This is a pair of electron. This is in conjugation. This pair of electron is in conjugation with this pi bond. This pair of electron is not in conjugation. So this is local lone pair. And this is delocalized lone pair. This is more basic. Look at the question number 3rd. So this lone pair is in conjugation with this pi bond, and this lone pair is also in conjugation with these pi bonds. So basically resonance is happening in both the compounds. Both are delocalized lone pairs. So how to now compare their basic strength? Whichever will be lesser delocalized, that will be more basic. So in that case, the lone pair will be spending more time on nitrogen if it is less delocalized. If it is more delocalized, it will be spending time on the other places more and lesser on the nitrogen. So here it will be resonating. This pair of electron will go here and this will shift over here. Then again this will go here and this will come back here. So there are two resonating structures gonna form. In one, lone pair is going, in one the lone pair is coming. So at least 50% of times the lone pair will be with the nitrogen, but here in this case more resonating structures are there, and lesser time the lone pair is spending with the nitrogen. So lesser times the lone pair is with nitrogen, that means nitrogen is not going to show its basic strength more often, because in very few cases it is getting the lone pair with itself. Hence the basic strength for the one where less conjugation is, that will be more. Here the delocalization is less, hence the basic strength is more. Wherever the delocalization is less, basic strength will be more. Now look at this. In this case, there is a pair of electron which is participating in the resonance, delocalized lone pair. Here the lone pair is not participating in any resonance. Automatically basic strength is more over here. Look at the next set of compounds here. Pair of electron is in conjugation with this pi bond and hence participating in the resonance. Here again it is delocalized, participating in the resonance. Here it is local, so this is automatically gonna be the most basic. Here delocalization is restricted to till this carbon, so delocalization is lesser and hence it is relatively more basic than this one. So the order is 3rd one, then 2nd one, and then 1st one. Why 3rd one? Local lone pair. Here in both the cases delocalization is there. Here lesser, in case of 2nd, lesser delocalization is there. Lesser number of resonating structures are forming. Lesser number of times it will be going to the other carbons, and hence it will be there with the nitrogen for the more time. Look at next question. In case of next one, this is local lone pair. This is delocalized lone pair. Automatically alpha is gonna be more basic than the beta one. Now look at this one here again. Here you have gamma, beta and alpha. This is delocalized lone pair. This is also delocalized lone pair, and this is localized one. So this is gonna be most basic. So this is what the question is, which one is the most basic nitrogen? So your gamma is gonna be the most basic nitrogen. So here we are done with the aliphatic amines ka basic strength order according to their degree, delocalized lone pair and sp3 hybridization. We will be taking the other factors also into the consideration. Next we'll talk about how to arrange the molecules in their Kb order if the compounds are going to be aromatic, anti-aromatic and non-aromatic. That we'll cover in the next video.